Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be discussing the first and the last word of Zen. If you are new here, hello, my name is Fakery. My goal is to receive information, any information, without any filter at all. If you like Zen stories, subscribe for more. Today our story is Tokusan Holds His Bowls. One day Tokusan went down towards the dining room holding his bowls. Seppo met him and asked, "Where are you off to with your bowls? The bell has not rung and the drum has not sounded." Tokusan turned away and went back to his room. Seppo mentioned this to Ganto, who remarked, "Tokusan is renowned, but he does not know the last word." Tokusan heard this remark and sent his attendant to fetch Ganto. "You do not approve of me?" he asked. Ganto whispered his meaning. Tokusan said nothing at the time, but the next day he ascended to the rostrum, and behold, he was different from usual. Ganto, going towards the front of the hall, clapped his hands and laughed loudly, saying, "Congratulations, our old man has got a hold of the last word. From now on, nobody in this whole country can outdo him." What is the last word? I wonder. We'll get more into that in the poem. There's a little bit more context in the commentary in the poem. A reminder that these stories are about non-duality. It's about not seeing yin, not seeing yang, seeing right through it, see yin-yang as it is all together as one. But it's also about getting into the don't know mind, which is, well, that's really hard to explain because you can't really explain it. It's not interacting with information in a way that is the way that you would interact if you're trying to know something. So it's not quite confusion. It's not understanding. It's not quite either of those things. It's like the commonality between them removed. Not engaging with something in that way that would lead you to understanding or misunderstanding. It's not that. So if a lot of that story didn't make any sense, there are a lot of weird characters, a lot of weird interactions, try to sit with that confusion and become comfortable in confusion and recognize the similarity that confusion has with an actual understanding, and try to remove that aspect when you engage with certain things. But anyway, we're actually going to explain it. I'm going to try to go through it bit by bit so that we can understand exactly what happened. Tokusan is a great priest. He's a well-known teacher, and he goes to the dining room. Seppo asked, why are you doing that? Why are you coming here at this moment? It's not time, right? The bell hasn't rang, the drum hasn't sounded, so there's no reason for you to be here at this, why are you here? And Tokusan, he gives this amazing answer. This is a great Zen type answer, of course. He just turns away and walks back to his room. That's it. He doesn't say anything. He just walks away. And it's right there. That is the answer. That's the perfect answer. He gave the answer, and Seppo completely, absolutely, 100% missed it. He missed it so much. In fact, he turned that great wisdom that Tokusan had, and he turns it into something negative. He turns it into gossip, right? And I'm wondering personally, how often do I get good information and I twist it into something else? Of course, we've all been here, I'm sure. To give a sort of hyperbolic example, we all may have learned eating salads is a good thing, but then when we get salads, we drown it in salad dressing. You know, that's twisting the information into something bad. We completely missed the actual lesson there. Or the same with something like study for your test, study hard for your test, and then we stay up late and study. Right, we're missing the wisdom, right? Because staying up late is completely counterproductive. We're missing the good parts. We're missing the essence of what the advice is. And I wonder how often we are actually doing this. And this is exactly what's happening to Seppo. He missed this great teaching of the teacher just not answering, because a not answer is a very perfect answer. A non-verbal answer, I suppose, is a very good answer to the question. And Seppo completely misses it. So we want to be aware of how often we sort of bastardize really good advice, and it goes through the filter of our brains, the filter of our minds, and twists and changes it. He goes to Ganto, and he tells Ganto, he essentially says, "Ganto, I dunked on our teacher. You know, our teacher, he's such a great spiritually enlightened whatever, but I asked him this one question, and he couldn't respond. He just turned away." So he's bragging about it. Ganto, he's kind of chill. He's sort of going along with Tokusan, but he's not really... he's not adding too much to it. He just says Tokusan is renowned, but he does not know the last word. And It's important that not knowing the last word of Zen is not a bad thing, right? Not knowing is what you don't want to know. You don't want to understand. You want to something else, it. The way to interact with the last word or the first word is not to know. So he may be saying a good thing here, but alas, Seppo heard this from Ganto, and apparently he spread it out a little bit more. Apparently he's gossiping more because somehow it got to Tokusan. Now this is very important. The information got to Tokusan, and he goes to Ganto. He says, "You did not approve of me," and Ganto whispered his meaning. This, again, the exact same thing was happening. There was a filter. What Ganto said initially was, Tokusan doesn't know the last word of Zen, and that was filtered through so many different people. I mean, we've all had this experience. We all understand what happens here. It's playing telephone. So he said this thing, which is sort of neutral. It may be good, it may be bad, but filtered through so many other people, it is definitely going to be seen as bad. It's going to be amplifying the negative portion of that message. And when it gets to Tokusan, he is kind of offended, right? But when Ganto clarifies what he meant, clarifies what he said, Tokusan understands that it went through this filter of so many different people that it changed the message completely. And he doesn't even want it to go through his own filter, his own intellectual filter, his own mind. So he doesn't actually respond in a verbal way. He doesn't interact with it with his mind. He doesn't filter it in any way. And not filtering it, he gets to the original meaning of what Ganto said. And then he may even go beyond that, before what Ganto says, before it's filtered through his own mind, and so on and so forth. He gets to the first word. If you do anything more than saying nothing and going back to your everyday life, you've missed it and you've changed it. So he goes back to his everyday life. The next day he ascends to the rostrum and he does a teaching. Everybody is expecting something different, right? Seppo and Ganto and the monks are all expecting Tokusan to change or to address the drama that has been happening behind the scenes. However, he doesn't do anything. He's completely unfazed. He has dropped the entire situation. He is seen to the source of the information. He's not bothered by anything that happened. Ganto realizes that. He sees that Tokusan is actually not changed at all. He's not different from usual. His expectations and the expectations of the monks are all different from usual. And Ganto, realizing this, says that Tokusan has got a hold of the last word of Zen, which he got a hold of, not the last, but, well, let's move on to the commentary. As for the last word, neither Ganto nor Tokusan had ever dreamed of it. When you look into the matter, you find they're like puppets on a string. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You cannot dream of the last word, of course. We're going to get more into that in the poem again. And they are like puppets on a string. But what are they controlled by? This is the important question. What have they been controlled by? What happens? What is before the filter of their intellect? What is before the filter of their actions? Onto the poem, quickly. If you realize the first, you master the last. The first and the last are not one word. So I know you must have picked up on it by now, right? The first is before the filter. That is the source of all of it. But if you realize the first, then you master the last. So to get the last word of Zen, which is what Ganto is praising Tokusan for, what he found, what he got to, was the source. What was the source? Well, this is a very simple question. What did Ganto say? What did Ganto say when he clarified his meaning? Now, if we look back at the koan, Mumon has done a very nice thing here. He just says, Ganto whispered his meaning. What did he whisper? What did he say? I don't know. Why? Let's go back to the very beginning. Why did Tokusan go to the dining room? That's how it starts. Tokusan one day went down towards the dining room. Why? Well, again, Mumon has done a very nice thing for us. He doesn't give us anything. There is no semantic meaning. We can't interact with the meaning in that way. Now, we can imagine things. We can filter this no meaning and make up random stuff. But the essence of the first word of Zen, and the first word and the last word here, once you realize the first, you master the last. The first word of Zen is nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's don't know. It's not knowing. And to filter any of that into making your own understanding is to miss it. Do not filter. Do not understand. You don't want to know. You want to get to the source, which is nothingness, which is just complete not understanding. Don't know mind. We aren't even given the opportunity to interpret anything because there's nothing to give us here. There's no meaning. So if there's anything that we add and we start becoming confused, that is all of our own filter. Get away from your filter. Stop understanding. Stop trying to think. Don't be confused. Don't understand. Don't misunderstand. Don't get any of that. You want to just see without adding anything else, and you get to the source. Once you realize the first word of Zen, once you realize the source, you master the last. You can master more Zen stories with this playlist here, and click this round icon to subscribe for more. No filter, no interpretation, just click. And of course, join me live on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 Eastern every single week. We talk about Zen stuff and other spirituality things. It's a whole lot of fun. That's it for this video. Thank you for joining me.